In the fluorescent purgatory of Pinnacle Paperworks, a mid-tier office supply company, the air reeked of burnt coffee and quiet desperation. Cubicles sprawled like a graveyard for ambition, each desk bearing a wilting fern and a faded poster proclaiming, "Teamwork makes the dream work." The employees, however, were far from united. They were a tense knot of schemers and survivors, none more powerful than Gary the Stapler King Thompson. Gary, a gaunt man with a comb-over clinging to his scalp like a shipwreck survivor, ruled the office supply closet with an iron grip. His title was unofficial, but his control over staplers, pens, and the rare ergonomic chair was absolute. Need a red swing line? You groveled to Gary. Want a gel pen that didn't smudge? You paid his price, favors, secrets, all loyalty. He ran the closet like a cartel, trading supplies for power. His empire thrived on trust, or so he believed. His closest ally was Sheila, the office manager with a perm as rigid as her demeanor. Sheila controlled schedules, memos, and the office's pulse. She knew who was skimming printer ink, Todd from accounting, and who was padding expense reports, Marissa from HR. Sheila was Gary's partner, his enforcer, his confidant. Together, they were untouchable. Or so he thought. The storm broke on a Monday when Pinnacle Paperworks received horrifying news from corporate. An internal audit had uncovered smuggled drugs moving through the company. Not just a few pills, but kilos of narcotics, hidden in shipments of printer paper and toner cartridges. The FBI was circling, and corporate was in a panic. To deflect blame, they launched the Efficiency Overdrive, a cutthroat initiative to root out inefficiencies and suspects. One employee per department would be named Productivity Champion, earning a corner office, a $5,000 bonus, and a personal coffee machine. The price? Prove your value by streamlining operations, cutting costs, or exposing culprits. The office became a snake pit of suspicion overnight. Gary saw a twisted opportunity. Sheila, he hissed in the supply closet, surrounded by stacks of post-its, we can use this. We control the supplies, the flow of work. We'll pin the drug mess on someone else and come out heroes. Sheila's eyes glinted, her perm unmoving. I'm with you, Gary. Let's make corporate beg for our brilliance. Their plan was ruthless. Gary tightened his grip on supplies, creating chaos. Staplers vanished, pens were locked away, and requisition forms required a blood oath or at least 3 signatures. Sheila documented the fallout, blaming delays on incompetent staff while subtly pointing fingers at Todd, whose nervous tics made him an easy scapegoat. They'd present their report to corporate, claiming they'd uncovered a supply chain breakdown tied to the drug smuggling, with Todd as the fall guy. The Productivity Champion title, and immunity from the FBI's probe, would be theirs. For weeks, the plan worked. The office unraveled. Todd stapled reports with paperclips, sweating under scrutiny. Marissa wrote memos in pencil, her hands shaking. The sales team, desperate for highlighters, offered Gary their car keys. Gary and Sheila thrived in the turmoil, plotting in the supply closet like warlords. We're gods, Gary whispered, clutching a stapler like a scepter. But betrayal festers like rot, and Sheila had her own game. She didn't just want the title, she wanted the empire. Gary was a tool, a stepping stone for her ascent. While he hoarded supplies, Sheila built a case against him. She logged every missing pen, every denied requisition, every time Gary traded a stapler for a favor. She hacked his email, finding messages where he bragged about running the show. Worst of all, she uncovered a secret. Gary had been skimming toner cartridges, selling them on the black market. He didn't know they contained drugs, but Sheila did. She'd found a baggie of white powder in a cartridge months ago and kept quiet, waiting for her moment. That moment came at the staff meeting. The office was a powder keg, employees whispering about the FBI's latest raid. Gary leaned back, smug, expecting Sheila to deliver their scripted report. Instead, she unveiled a PowerPoint titled The Stapler King's Cartel. The screen flashed with evidence, photos of Gary's desk, piled with hoarded supplies, emails detailing his toner side hustle, and a grainy photo of him unloading a crate in the parking lot, unaware it held narcotics. The final slide showed the baggie of powder, labeled found in Gary's stash. The room erupted. You set us up. Todd screamed, throwing a paperclip. Marissa sobbed, I trusted you, Gary. The sales team, out their car keys, lunged for him. Sheila stood calm, her perm a crown of triumph. Gary Thompson is the root of our chaos, she declared. He's been running a black market, possibly tied to the drugs. I propose a digital supply system, under my control, to stop this corruption. Gary's comb-over trembled. Sheila, you snake, he roared, but security, a temp named Carl, looking terrified, was already escorting him out. His supply closet key was seized, his desk ransacked. The FBI was called, and Gary was detained, protesting his innocence. Sheila, hailed as a whistleblower, claimed the corner office and the coffee machine, her system approved instantly. But Gary wasn't finished. Betrayal burns, and revenge is a fire that doesn't quit. In the basement, where he'd been demoted to shredding files, he pieced together Sheila's betrayal. He remembered her snooping near the toner crates, her odd questions about his suppliers. She'd known about the drugs and framed him to save herself. Gary recruited Todd, who was furious at being scapegoated. Todd's cousin, a shady IT consultant, owed him a favor. For a case of energy drinks, the cousin hacked Pinnacle's server, targeting Sheila's precious digital requisition system. A virus, disguised as a memo about free pizza, infected her spreadsheet. When Sheila clicked, the system imploded. Requisitions vanished, supplies stalled, and the office descended into anarchy. Sheila's empire crumbled. Employees revolted, waving empty pen cases. The FBI, sniffing her involvement in the drug cover-up, questioned her relentlessly. Corporate, fed up with the chaos, stripped her of the Productivity Champion title and banished her to manage the office's hazardous waste program, a humiliating fall. Whispers spread that Sheila had known about the drugs all along, her perm wilting under the weight of suspicion. Gary didn't reclaim his throne. The FBI cleared him of drug charges but fired him for the toner scam. Still, he walked out with a grim smile. The sales team slipped him a vape pen as thanks for exposing Sheila. Todd shook his hand. Even Marissa, shaken by the ordeal, left a note, "You didn't deserve this." The Productivity Champion title went to Carl the Temp, who'd suggested barcoding supplies to track them. Carl, clueless about the war he'd survived, used his bonus to buy a motorcycle and vanished. Pinnacle Paperworks limped on, its ferns drooping, its posters curling. The drug scandal faded, but the legend of the Stapler Syndicate endured, whispered in the break room where the coffee was always cold. Somewhere, in an evidence locker, a red swing-lined stapler sat, its shine dulled but its story eternal.